By now, your product should look something very much like this. The next component that we need to create is going to be these two windows that go over where the LEDs poke through. So there's one on each side. For this, I'm going to close down a few things. I'm going to hide a few components to make things a bit clearer and a bit easier to see what's going on. So I'm just going to go through and hide some of these components. Again, I'm not suppressing them, just hiding them for clarity. So to create these little windows is very simple. It's really only a couple of commands to get that happening. So what we do is we'll go and create a new component. So go insert component, new part. Now it asks for a face to place that component on. So we're just going to select the right face, which is the one that goes through the middle. Now what happens when you're creating a new component or editing a component within an assembly, all the other components in the assembly go transparent, which is very useful for editing purposes. But often when you want to create or you want to select some geometry to convert entities or offset entities, sometimes it's a little bit hard to select the right face and see what's going on. So that's exactly what we want to do right now. We want to select the face that's in the little recess where that window is going to sit. So we select that face, hit convert entities, and it's going to draw a line that is around where that face sits. But it will draw it on the inside, on the plane that we've selected, which is on the inside. We want to create a boss extrude. We want to extrude down onto this face. Now we don't really want to be on the inside there, but it actually doesn't matter where that original sketch sits because we can offset that. So we can create an offset and we can just work out where the sketch starts from. So we want to, let's say 50 millimeters, doesn't really matter, that dimension is irrelevant. We need to just make sure that the direction we're going to extrude is correct, and then we just go extrude up to surface. Again, we've just got to carefully select that little inside surface, and that's step one. Step two is to select this face, create a sketch on that face, convert entities, and then do a cut extrude down to this outside face. So up to surface, select that face and hit OK, and then we have that little window in place. So that's what it looks like. Now we just need to have one on the other side. So the simple way of doing that is to select the component, a little window, and then go to mirror components. Select a plane that we want to mirror it around, which is going to be that right plane sitting through the middle. If we just hit OK with mirror components, what we'll find is that this component has been mirrored, but it's actually the wrong way around. It's inverse. It's not in the right spot. So let's just go back and edit that mirror feature. Now there's a little next arrow here. If we click on that and then go down to the bottom here and where it says create opposite hand version, we click on that and that will give us the shape we want. Unfortunately, that 9 times out of 10 that you want to select the opposite hand version, so it's important to know where it is. And so that's the two windows, and we want to make those things clear. So we'll go to appearance and we want to make them out of glass. As an appearance, they're probably out of a clear plastic. So we just drag that and drop it over the component that we've just created. So that's now clear. And then we just do the same thing, drag and drop that over the mirror feature, mirror component, and there you have a clear window on both sides.
We're getting closer to finishing. There are a few more things that need to be done before this is complete. One of which is for you to create a little grill. Now that's just a simple circle with a grill shape. It's up to you to decide how to create that grill. I've already shown you how to do the back one. This one's flat and is quite simple. So up to you how you do that. And the next thing will be to put in the micro switch. I'll just hide this component so we can see what's going on. Inserting a new component, an existing component, is not difficult, but getting it in the right place can be. Let's go insert component, existing part. Now we have the micro switch here. So I'm just going to hit OK. Now what it's done is put the micro switch in. It's not really where I want it to be. Now you'll see there's an F next to the micro switch. If that happens, that means it's fixed and not floating. Just need to right click on that and go to float and all configurations. Then you're able to grab this thing and move it around. We really need to be able to place it in the right spot using assembly mates. So I'm going to use the plane that runs through the middle of the micro switch and make a mate constraint with the right plane, which is the plane that runs through the middle of the assembly. Now they're now located in the right orientation. That's all good. The next mate will be to locate that surface there, or that face there, with the vertical plane in the assembly. So control select both of those. And now it's actually around the wrong way, so I need to flip the mate alignment. And we don't want coincident, I actually want a distance. So I'll put in a distance of 150. Again, that mate alignment reversed itself. Hit OK. I'm just going to drag this down into the right location. It's roughly there. Mate between the top plane. Don't know why these planes were named the way that they have been named, because this was an imported model from GrabCAD, so I didn't create it. And that's often the case. You'll use existing components. Okay, so control select the top plane, and that's in approximately the right position. So when we hit mate and we go to distance, it's probably about right, maybe 55. Okay, so the other mate isn't quite right, so I need to go and adjust that. And I'll just edit that. I need to go back a little bit more. So that's probably about right, 160. Okay. So once you've got that in the right position, you can then create some little pegs. Now, I've already done that. I've created these pegs in the right spot. You can either create them first and use those as mates, as cylindrical mates to get this in the right spot, but it's probably easier to do it the other way around. Put the switch in first and then put the pegs in place in the right spot. Now, your trigger is probably looking a little bit different to this one. So I'll just open this up and show you what I've done. Yours is probably looking a lot like this, not even shelled, just a solid lump. So first thing you'll need to do is to create a shell it out, then put a boss peg on here so that it has something to rotate on and locate in the handle. Mirror that to the other side. You also need to cut extrude just so that you've got some room for the thing to pivot backwards and forwards and not collide with the micro switch or the handle. Then the final thing will be just a little tab here which will activate the micro switch. So going back to the assembly. Now there's these cables here that come from the heating element. They're basically a boss sweep, very similar to what we did with the curly cord. You'll need to go and modify these things, edit that sweep and get those cables to go in the right direction and end up by being attached to the micro switch. So a little bit of editing there. It should be fairly straightforward and simple. And that's about it for the model construction. So I'll just show all these components again. And that is pretty much the finished assembly. We do have some other things that we need to do. So we need to create an exploded view, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. We also need to put some other features on here, some decals and some other things that make it a little bit more realistic.